We're all very aware of what we lack. We're all very aware. You take the average human being and you say, make a list of 10 things you're great at. It'll take them, 3 days. You say, make a list of 100 things you're not good at. They can do it in 2 minutes. So we're all very cognizant and aware of the things we lack. And I just want you all to know that the things that are remarkable about you when you're in the presence of other people dwarfs the things about you that you're not great at. They don't see them. You think they see them, but they don't. And so it's interesting. I don't see you that way. I don't see Nick that way. I see this greatness in front of me. I see this man who's an expert at redefining impossible, which I want to talk about next. You're the epitome of it, brother. A little boy, this beautiful, precious boy is born. And the doctor says to your father, I'm sorry we didn't tell you so you could abort him. And that very little boy, whose mother even at first wasn't sure about holding him or touching, that little boy goes to change millions and millions of lives. That's the definition, dude, of redefining impossible, right? Like you've redefined. No one that day who says, I'm sorry you didn't abort this baby, that doctor's not thinking, yeah, 74 countries, millions of people, thousands of lives and souls changed. No one would think that, right? So talk about that concept with you, about rising above and redefining that. I love the way you talk about this.
Look, I'm not going to say her name, but I'm not the only one with the story, right? Mm-hmm. We've got a history. What I've learned is I'm not the only one going through something, and I'm never telling anyone that I'm going through something worse than anybody. I tell teenagers all the time, I believe it's worse being in a broken home than having no arms and legs. And so someone who's gone through a broken home, I can't encourage them as much as someone who has come on the other side and say, I know how that feels. Me, like a limbless boy, that's the beautiful thing. I've met another limbless boy. I've met 30 people. Now he knows that if Uncle Nick can do it, then I can do it. And so in that story, there is someone local here actually who lives close to here. I won't mention her name. I'm about to see her tomorrow to be with her 2 boys. She has 2 boys from 2 different fathers because those fathers died at age 39 within 5 years of each other. One of cancer, one in a car crash. And so I'm just about to spend her boys are going in the pool with my boys tomorrow.
Wonderful.
And for me, when I looked at her second husband's funeral and I was able to speak at his memorial service, he was a dear friend of mine at 39 just now, only a couple months ago.
I'm sorry.
She said to me, if I went through this just to help one other widow. And it's that understanding that it's not, man, another punch, I need to get up. It's understanding, okay, wait a second. It's not a like chance or coincidence that I'm watching a podcast with Ed and Nick and I feel my life is impossible. I'm depressed, I'm isolated. I haven't told someone what my dad did to me and I haven't even forgiven him. I haven't forgiven myself of the things I've done wrong. They're still trapped in maybe the failure or my success. My business is successful, Nick and Ed, but I still haven't got something and more of what I love. I haven't found that. And that's the purpose that we all need to find and say, look, when I don't get a miracle, it doesn't mean I can't be a miracle for someone else. And so millions of dollars or me helping little Daniel help him. When he was getting bullied at school, I went in my wheelchair and I ran them all over. No, I didn't. I went there and I did a quick 15-minute speech about bullying, right? And now, not only did he go through the rest of his elementary and middle school unbullied because now he accepts himself. People stop teasing him and they stop teasing everyone else. I'm like, hey guys, we're all valuable. We all have a purpose. We all have story and we can all make the world a better place. Money, drugs, sex, alcohol, pornography, fame and fortune. If you put your happiness in temporary things, your happiness will be temporary. And so when you come back to the understanding that even the challenge is something that we shouldn't just say, I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to walk away from it. I'm going to never address that. I'm never going to, no. The sooner you address the things, even me, Ed, the speaker who's traveled around the world, it took me 10 years to forgive the family who didn't think that I was good enough for their family, for her. And now I have an amazing wife. She's half Japanese, half Mexican. We call that Japsican. We've got 4 children, 7, 4, and twin girls at 2. And I just want people to know it's not that I'm a speaker to say everything is possible. Just do it. No. Take one day at a time, be thankful, do your best. Reframe the attitude for you on a daily basis. Don't be debilitated by panic. See what you know, learn what you don't know, and take a step forward.
So good, brother. Going back to the janitor at your school, I keep thinking of him. Isn't that interesting?
He's beautiful. And I just met up with him after all those years. I went to his humble home. His name is Arnold. I have talked about him publicly and in my book.
Yeah.
And he was the catalyst. And then after him, I just did speeches at schools.
Were you good at first?
No, I was terrible. I would actually never watch me speak if I recorded it because I'm so, how would you say, the biggest critic.
Yeah, me too.
And,
I still am that way.
And I was bad though.
Yeah.
I wasn't good. But I didn't want to listen to a motivational speaker because what I knew straight up, if I listen to other people's content, then I'm not authentic. And I needed to buckle down, make my own content. And after I did my first 300 or 400 speeches all across Brisbane, Australia, we then got me a coach. My teacher aide's husband was a coach, and he sewed into me 10 hours. And even when my parents said, "You're crazy, you'll never make money speaking, do a double degree in accounting and financial planning," and I did. My father gave me wonderful wisdom, Ed. He said, start an accounting firm, go into stock market, go into real estate, and get employees to be your hands and feet. I was 6 years old when he said, you need to become a millionaire to survive. No one knows that my nonprofit doesn't even pay for my caregivers, and I have a family to feed. And so he told me entrepreneurially, you need to make it happen, do your best. Went into the stock market at 16, went into real estate at 19. He taught me, just go for it, but they never thought that I'd ever be a speaker.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
That's crazy. So that was my next question, by the way, is involving entrepreneurship. That's something that can be missed with you. You're a serial entrepreneur. You're a great entrepreneur. Off camera, all we were talking about was entrepreneurial ideas and the power of that. And so many people get the type of advice. I think my parents, I could sense, my parents didn't tell me you weren't going to make it as an entrepreneur. My dad now tells me, I didn't think you were going to make it. They were so worried. I remember I loaded up a U-Haul and I was driving away to go to my first entrepreneurial venture. And my dad tells me as I was driving away, he was telling my mother, God bless him, he'll be back soon. Why is he doing this? And so I think a lot of people sense this lack of support from family, lack of belief, maybe even lack of belief in themselves. What are your attitudes about that? Do you think most people should be pursuing entrepreneurship, a side hustle of some type, or a nonprofit of their own? What are your thoughts about that, just to enrich their own life? How do you feel about that?
So you talk about it all the time. First of all, entrepreneurship is not for everyone. Sometimes you're in intrapreneurship, 9 to 5, every day. I'm just going to be the best person I can be at what I have. That's fantastic. If though there is a dream to then do a side hustle, go into real estate, do this, do that, I would say go for it, as long as first of all, your priorities are right. And so,
what are those priorities?
So for me, right, I actually achieved my goal and dream when my dad was dying of cancer. When I nearly died 2016.
Why did you almost die?
I had a negligent surgery go wrong in California after a benign tumor was removed.
Okay, wow.
Didn't sue him, we just move on. Money's money, doesn't matter. So then 2016, I nearly died. 2017, my dad died, and I had 4 children then at the time. I actually wanted to get to a week where we got the bread and butter, we're doing the nonprofit. I want to switch off my phone Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I did it.
Oof.
I did it. I had 17 staff at the time, and I did it for 6 months straight. And I was doing the status quo, but not enough oxygen or reserve in case some contracts cancel for cash flow on a rainy day. So for me, it's, first of all, you got to be true to yourself with what's most important to you. For me, faith, family, friends. If you're not really conversing, if you're not really connecting, I think us human beings were created to connect. Life is never better alone. Doesn't matter, I'm not talking about married or not married, I'm talking about connecting with human beings, number 1. Number 2, going after your biggest dreams. My dreams of being married and having kids, done. But really now when you have a wife, I'm looking, I'm like, okay, what's my next venture? I want her to bless the idea. And when you have a spouse who loves you, who who respects you because you love and respect them. There's a margin that you make from week to week or month to month saying, look, I'm going to try and hustle. I'm getting ready for a 15-hour day stretch.
Yeah.
That I'm going to do 9 to 5. I'm not going to be able to do this and this and this as much, but I'm going to do this because I feel like this is what I need to do. If that is in unison for your family, you run for that. And for as long as your thoroughbred heart beats for that, you keep on knocking. But there are triggers of success, triggers of wait, pause, triggers of failure. At the trigger of failure, do you then go to an editor and say, what do you think I should do? No, your heart first will say eventually, let's wait, let's delay it. You know how timing is important.
Yeah.
Not just the outside, the inside. I can tell you right now, if Nick Vujicic started a podcast 5 years ago,
No.
now,
Now's the time.
oh my gosh, now is the time. So understanding and embracing that the timing and a closed door doesn't mean it's not going to open again, but really your spirit and your connection. If you're not married, then all you have to worry about is you, yourself, and you. And then say, okay, I don't have other mouths to feed. This is how much risk I'm ready to take. This is the attitude of the time I'm going to give myself. But hustle, go for it. No one's going to make it happen except for you.
You, my friend, have become a gigantic success in your life, in the things that I think matter, which is where you've measured it as well. But you have been a success as a family man. You've been success in your faith and also serving God. You've been a success financially. You've made a lot of money. You've traveled the world. You've influenced people. What has made you successful? You're not successful because you lack limbs, right? That's not why you're successful. But isn't it interesting? Like, I want to peel back.
Right,
so
right.
when Marshall Faulk, the NFL Hall of Famer, sat next to me, or Robert O'Neill killed Osama bin Laden, or Stephanie McMahon, who runs the WWE, or whoever I've had on the show that's maxing out certain areas of their life, okay? You're no different than them in your way. With the humility that I know you're going to answer it with, if we're being real, are you just like a psycho competitor? Is it your work ethic? Is it your ingenuity? Is it your anointing? Like, what is it that's made you max out so many different areas of your life? And I know that you feel like you haven't done it all the way that you want to, which we'll talk about next. But what is it about you? What's the special?
I think the key attitude is being present and being honest.
Wow.
And when you're a humble person who can humbly say you're a humble person, that you have no greed, ego, need to prove nothing to nobody, and you honestly look at yourself and say, okay, this is who I am, this is what I have. No point in wishing this, wishing that. This is what I'm gonna do to my best ability. I actually feel like I have a unique edge on any other person only because, again, of the struggle. The struggle we're in before anybody leaves the room. So I became almost like an operator at age 7 or 8, timing everyone, reading body language before someone moves out of the room. Please, can you get me a glass of water, put a straw, and me remembering, wait a second, how do I do this? So I've been forced to figure it out and not to depend on someone else or something else. How can I figure it out and approach it from different angles? So when you have an attitude that approaches adversity, that is quite resilient. A resilient approach to adversity helps you to look at something and say, okay, these are the first 3 reasons why it seems extremely difficult. And the average person is going to say, okay, I have good enough reason not to. No. Einstein said, genius is when you're obsessed with impossible. And when you look at impossible, that's when you become fearless. And when you're fearless and you have the attitude and approach of any adversity, it doesn't mean you don't at least get a flavor on the tip of your tongue of panic or numbness in your mind. You go through, everyone's human, but quickly you say, wait a second, what about 4, 5, 6? What if I did this? What if I did that? And so in the physical, when I needed something from the bookshelf and I told my mom, I can't get it, can you get me? And she said, get it yourself. It was the best thing when I thought, why not just have that? Given this way, she gave me a task. And when I did that in that mind, I would say reframing adversity. It's not a bad thing. It's not a barrier. It's a challenge. And people see me as strong. Anybody who's gone through adversity is strong. Why? Because you know what they've been through. If I am stronger because of what I've been through, you, if you will, more embrace the challenge today. Being present, honest, and giving yourself a shot. Sometimes we are the ones, Ed, that never gives ourselves a shot.
I totally agree with you. I'm going to tell you one thing about you too. So clearly, I thought you might say part of that, which was that, hey, listen, you know, I didn't get things off the shelf. I had to learn to do things that weren't easy for me to do because of the lack of my limbs and other different things. I thought that you would say that. I'm going to tell you something about you that maybe someone hasn't said to you that I want to say, that I want to acknowledge about you. You have a tremendous amount of personal presence and influence. It's why you're great on stage. It's why you're incredible one-on-one. It's why you're a great entrepreneur. And I find people with personal presence isn't their size or their deep voice or anything like that. Personal presence are people who have grown to become very comfortable with themselves. And people who are very comfortable with themselves can be into you when they're communicating with you. Yeah. They can make it about you because they're comfortable. When you're uncomfortable with yourself, when you don't love yourself, when you don't embrace yourself, your entire time is spent trying to create a version of you to people where you're not present with them. You have that, and I think the hidden blessing of your life is because of some of the deficiencies at birth growing up. You had to work harder than the average person on loving you and embracing what you did have. Ironically, it's what has made you such a person of influence. Because I sit next to everybody in these interviews, and I know when someone's talking to me, when they live it. There are people who say inspiring things, and then there are inspiring people. Those are two different things. You're an inspiring person, and your inspiration is because of who you actually are. So I just want to tell you, that's one thing about you that strikes me, right when we met up until this moment, is your presence as a man. And I believe that's because you're so comfortable with yourself.
Can I dovetail on that?
Please.
Because there are so many people who want to be successful, who want to be entrepreneurs, who get all the mechanics of, if you're a realtor, if you're this, if you're that, this is body language, eye contact, all the mechanics, all the science. It wasn't hard for me to work on that. What you just said, no one else has brought up. You're the first one. And here is why. It's because when people judged me for how I looked, and they wouldn't even look me in the eye to see my soul. And when you know that I could tease someone else because of how they look, but I don't want to judge them. I want to look them in their eyes, appreciate them for who they are. And instead of being, I can't, be involved in a sports activity. It's an elimination dodgeball thing or something like that. I had to sit out sometimes. I'm waiting for the first person who feels like, oh my gosh, I'm the worst kid at school today because I'm known today as the one who was first eliminated. And I look at them, hey, good job. Better luck next time. And we start talking because I knew how much talking and opening up to someone helped me. I know how people judged me and then how I in turn judge myself. So I tried to unchain people's own personal judgment, which again is just an attitude shift.
Gosh, brother, that's awesome. That is awesome, man. So I've read Life Without Limits twice. I read it when it originally came out, and then I read it again here recently.
Awesome.
And there's these things you list in there: having a powerful sense of purpose, hope so strong that it cannot be diminished, faith in God and the infinite possibilities, and then the love and self-acceptance. And there's other parts of the book as well. I want them to read the book to get it. So it's an incredible piece of advice that's in that book. But the last thing I want to ask you is, there's millions of people that are hearing this and watching this who come to the show today not feeling great about their lives, themselves, what they've achieved, where they're going. They may not even feel like their future's very bright.
Right.
And they look at you and all you've achieved and all you continue to achieve. If there was just a sliver of a word you could give them, if they ran into you at a Starbucks somewhere and said, hey, you've really made a difference in my life, but truthfully, I feel this way right now, what would be your message to those people that are listening or watching?
I just want you to know that when you go through adversity, I want you to know to hold on. I want you to know, despite what you see, despite what you feel, despite what you know, you're here for a good reason. And it doesn't mean that all of life is good, but you're here through a good purpose. And you're like, well, wait a second. How could anything good come out of my life? Nick, I got this, I got that. Well, first of all, I'm not comparing my pain to you, but I have no arms and legs. And I had a choice to either be thankful for what I had, do my best, and take one day at a time, or give up. And the smile that you see is real. The strength that you see in my eyes is real. And not because I'm selling you anything, because I love you and I believe in you. Don't give up. Keep going. If you need counseling, go get counseling. Maybe one of the things that you need to do to get out of a depression is also maybe going to help someone else in need that maybe cannot even thank you for that. And that then instigate purpose, because to get out of depression or a funk that we're in, the one thing that I'm going to leave you with is when you actually take the focus of what you're going through, not because you don't love yourself and not because of what you're going through is bad, but when you step out of that and say, okay, how can I go and help someone else, feed a homeless person, be part of a nonprofit and serve over the weekend? When someone looks at you who's in need and you help them fulfill that need, subconsciously and consciously, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, it is an affirmation of little steps to build back your self-confidence to get ready to say, I can do this. I am someone. So despite what you see, feel, and know, you can have forward thinking with a shift of attitude and action.
Bang. Amen. That was so good, brother. Okay, so good. How do they get more of you? Before we leave today,
Right.
How do they get more of you? Where do you want them to go?
I would love first of everyone to go to nickvujicic.com. Okay. You can book me as a speaker, join us on our newsletter, and then the podcast that is up and running right now. We're so excited. Okay. I don't know exactly what all my listeners want, and we're going to figure out more and more of that path, and I'm going to get some coaching from you as well.
Absolutely hear that.
The part of my routine that has not wavered or changed is my morning prayer time. And for me, and by the way, my morning prayer is like I do it on my knees because it just reminds me of how small I really am. But that I think I almost do it selfishly from the standpoint that it gives me courage, that connection. It reminds me, everybody, I want you to hear this, no matter what your faith is. Tim and I are both Christians, but just set aside what type of faith you have just for 1 second, or that you don't have any faith yet and you're thinking about finding faith, finding Jesus in your life. For me, it's a reminder I'm not alone in everything I do from the minute that I get up, that I'm never alone. And that never aloneness gives me confidence and courage because I know I don't have the perfect words all the time. Right. I don't know what to say. I may not be, I'm not a psychologist. I may not be prepared, but I'm never alone when I'm helping other people. And when you feel helpless in your life, get helpful.
Yes.
And it'll change everything for you.
I totally agree. I think one of the biggest ways to get out of a slump, out of a pity party, is to get out of your comfort zone and help someone else. I have an agreement with one of my friends that when something bad would happen to me, that I wasn't going to do anything before I served. Wow. And I would get cut from a team. There would be something disappointing. There would be a whatever. It doesn't matter where I'm at. We would meet and we would go serve.
No way.
No one needs to see, no one needs to know, but we would just serve. Because when you go serve, it changes so much in such a way that it's almost hard to even put into words. But so much of what we do in our lives is about us. And when we finally change the focus and the narrative of not putting us first, but actually serving, there's something that drastically changes. I give you one story. I was at the University of Florida in my freshman year. We were fortunate to win a national championship. My sophomore year, we were blessed to win the Heisman. I say we because it's it took so many people to do it. My junior year, we won a national championship, and my senior year, our goal was to win another national championship, 3 out of 4, something very few teams had ever done, and we didn't shy away from that goal. We were confident in it. We would literally break it down to best ever, you know, because we thought we had a chance to be that. We go undefeated, 12-0 through the regular season, get to the SEC championship game against Alabama, 1-2. The year before they were 1, we were 2. We upset them. Now this year we were 1, they were 2, and they upset us. And I'm competitive to the nth degree, but it became more than a game for me, and it affected me, who I was,
really,
my identity, and I took it way too far. I guarantee you that week, if you were around me, maybe you wouldn't see me, but if you really knew me, you knew that there was some part of identity that took place in that game.
Interesting.
And the next weekend, we're at the Home Depot Awards. It's the college football awards and everything. And the night before, they have a banquet that we have to go to. And I remember sitting there and I'm in such a bad mood. I'm so bitter. I'm so mad. I'm so frustrated. I regret so much. I'm so upset. It's there's just no peace. There's no gentleness. There's no kindness. There's no compassion because it's all about me.
Yeah.
And what we lost and what we didn't get. And they're bringing up some Texas players and Alabama players to the stage because they're going to play in the national championship. And I'm watching that just ready to puke, you know? And and there's this this waitress that comes up to our table, and she looks so nervous. And she said, you know, and she's trying to say something, and she's so nervous. And she said, "I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to bother you." And I said, "No, it's okay. What is it?" And she just takes another 20 seconds to share it. And she finally gets it out. There's a girl and her family that have driven from Virginia to see you. And this is in Orlando, Florida. That's a long drive. And she has, she didn't know how to say it. You know, some things she's fighting. And would you want to see her? And I'm like, of course. So I stand up and I start walking to the back of the room. I guess they're not supposed to let in guests and everything, and it's kind of a private deal. But so I think she was nervous. She's going to get in trouble, but I'm so grateful that she had the courage to tell me because it changed my life. They open the doors, and in comes walking this young girl named Kelly Fawnin, who has had brain tumors and tremors, and she's overcome more in her life than I could ever possibly overcome. She is such an inspiration to me and so many people. And Kelly, it's really hard for her to walk and take the next step. But she is so excited to see me, and she is trying to take the next step and get closer to me. As I'm walking towards her, she's walking towards me, and she almost falls on every step, you know, because her weight gets too far forward, and she's trying to, and finally she gets to me, and her arms are open wide, and she just wraps me up and gives me this amazing hug and squeezes me, and no one said anything yet, and I'm just hugging her and squeezing her for probably a minute or so, and then without saying anything, she starts crying. And then I start crying, and her parents were right there, and my parents were right here, and all of them are crying. And then I step back and we start talking. I get to meet Kelly, and I get to hear about her story, and I get to hear about what she's gone through and what she's been through, and the courageous young woman that she is. And I just felt it on my spirit to ask her to be my date the next night for the red carpet and the awards ceremony. And thankfully she said yes. And so the next morning, my uncle took her out with her parents and her sister to get her a dress so she could be the belle of the ball. And then all of us went to dinner that next night before the red carpet and the awards ceremony. And I mean, Ed, we're dying. We're laughing. We're having the most fun at dinner. We're enjoying the whole thing. It was amazing. And then we go into the red carpet, and we're walking down the red carpet, and the crowd's going crazy for her, and they're cheering for her and all of this. And she just looks so happy, so joy-filled, so beautiful as we walk down the red carpet. And then we go into our seats, and I guess sitting literally like row 1, seat A, and she's like right beside me, and her family's near us, and my family's right behind me, and I was up for quite a few awards that year, and maybe 6, something like that. I can't remember exactly, but something like that. And man, I'll tell you what, the night was amazing.
Gosh.
It was so awesome. And then the award show starts. And the first award that I'm up for, and I lose. And I'm like, it's okay. It's not about that. It's about Kelly. The second award starts, and I lose. It's okay. It's about Kelly. Third award, and I lose. All right, it stings a little bit, getting a little irritated. Fourth award, lose. Fifth award, lose. And now all of those emotions and selfishness and bitterness and everything that was about me is coming back, and it's flooding me. And then as they're getting ready to announce the sixth award, and as I'm sitting here, I can't even tell you what it's for.
Right.
But at the moment, you would have thought, this is everything.
It's huge.
And before they announce it, my mom sitting behind me leans forward and she whispers in my ear, Timmy, you already won tonight. You just don't get your award till heaven.
Oh, bro.
What is she talking about? She's not talking about this college football award. She's talking about what mattered in the moment. Yeah. What mattered in the moment was Kelly and her family. And you see, what was happening was when I was at the banquet the night before, and that whole week, everything was about me. It was about me. It was about me. It was about me. And then I met Kelly, and it changed because I was inspired by her. And so I stopped focusing on myself for 1 minute, and I started thinking about her. And you know what happened? I finally refound joy and peace and happiness, but happiness isn't the right word. Joy is more of the right word. Yeah. And that was there until it started to become about me again. Went right back into it until I was reminded. And that's, one of the things I think is so important is we have to remind ourselves over and over and over again what matters. What are the things that we believe? What do we hold fast to? What are our convictions? What are our non-negotiables? Yeah. We have to remember, and we have to meditate on those things to remind us, because if not, other things are going to fill our brain, fill our heart, and they're going to start to creep in. Not all together, but to creep in. Oh, no. You need to put yourself first. Oh, no. You shouldn't be happy if you don't win. Yeah. No, it's about you. Yep. It is about you. And all these things are going to creep in over, because that's what society tells us.
It's so true, man.
It's about you. And if it's not about you, then you need to be like this other person's, because you need to be more like them. They have more followers, and you need to be like their highlight reel on their Instagram, on their social media. And it's just constantly saying either you need to be more, it needs to be about you, or you need to be more like them. And I'm just so grateful for Kelly that day. And by the way, we're still close friends, and she has raised hundreds of thousands for the foundation, and she's a mama bear to so many other kids, and she makes such an impact, and she's so incredible. But I'm just so grateful that she reminded me on that day what really matters. And going back to what I was just saying about remembering is, I think there's a reason why in Deuteronomy, Moses 22 times says to the Israelites, remember or do not forget. Wouldn't you could imagine if God had rescued you and parted the sea, and you would never have to say, Timmy, remember what happened. Right. But instantly, they started focusing on a lot of other things and forgot the goodness of God.
Gosh, man.
And so Moses reminded them, we need to be reminded over and over and over and over again. And we need to go back and we need to remember what matters, our non-negotiables, our convictions, all the amazing things that God has done in our life. And we need to focus on those things. And so, when we get out of bed and we focus on those things, then we reframe our mind. We go back to what matters. True. We go back to what's important. We're encouraged by good things. And now we go get ready to head out to life.
Brother, that is one of the great stories. Like it kind of reads like a movie script. Let's be real, right? Like even the people in the studio over there are like nodding. Like that is one of the great. It's not easy to give me goosebumps. Like it just isn't, right? I got like goosies everywhere because it's exactly true. I think what a lot of people think, by the way, and I've thought this, when I ever say a lot of people when you're listening to the show, I mean like I also am a lot of people, right? But I used to think when things weren't good in my life, what you just said sounds really good. And once I get my own life together, I'm going to really start serving other people. Yeah. When I can get my head above water, when I stop drowning, then I'll do it. And what I have found in my life is that you're going to take you with you when you get to these next destinations. And if you can't find a way to find joy and bliss and what you talk about in the book a great deal, gratitude, in the moments of your life where it's difficult. In other words, if your bliss, if your service, if your love, if your faith is conditional on everything being dialed in your life right now, you're going to have very few moments of bliss and joy in your life. And it's actually not real. And so the hard thing to do in life, when I was the most broke and my water was turned off and friends were abandoning me, was to find things to be grateful for in those moments, which is why I love your book. Because it's just a reminder on a daily basis to find the small things in life that we're grateful for. And everyone in personal development talks about, you got to be gratitude. You got to have gratitude. But I think listening to you and being with you, this is a real pattern and benchmark of your life, right? Gratitude.
Absolutely. But see, what happens with gratitude is a lot of people think that, gratitude is an emotion or a feeling that I get, and sometimes it can be, but it can also be a choice of when I choose to focus on the things that I'm grateful for. And the University of Miami did a study, and I don't remember necessarily every part of the study, but a main part of the study was in one of the control groups that they had to write down one thing every day that they were grateful for, and I think for 10 weeks. And then they had some of the other control groups write down other things. But the point of it was that group that for 10 weeks wrote down one thing every day. And you think, well, that's so easy.
Yeah.
Well, I can write down one thing every day for 10. That's not a lot. At the end of the study, that group had a biological, chemical reaction for the better. Literally, their health improved. Their mindset improved. They were better off because for 10 weeks, they wrote down one thing they were grateful for. Right? There's something to choosing gratefulness.
It's so true.
Not just feeling grateful,
Very good.
choosing it. Because sometimes we don't feel like it. But I'm so grateful we don't have to live always by our feelings, because feelings are really fickle. And they come and go. Man, do you know how many days, when the alarm goes off at 5, you're like, I don't want to wake up. I don't want to go do this. But we don't have to live by our emotions. We get to choose our convictions of what we believe, of what we want to live for, of what we want to stand for. And that doesn't mean we're perfect with it. We screw up all the time with it. But if you live by your emotions, then your life will be a roller coaster.
Gosh, that's so true. Yeah.
It will be a roller coaster. You're going to have some awesome days. Man, I feel like it. I feel grateful. But then you're going to have other days where you don't feel like it. And in those moments, what do we go back to? Can we still write down what we're grateful for?
So good, dude.
Can we reframe our mindset? Can we find encouragement? Can we remember all of those things? And
Tim, are you listening to you? I don't know. Sometimes I do the show, it becomes out of body for me every once in a while. I'm like, I'm so proud of this guy right now. And it's not about you. It's just like, I do this show because I love humans and I want joy and the love and the techniques and the strategies and all that in life too. But no one has ever sat there, ever, or all the shows I used to film in my house and said that gratitude is not just an emotion. It's actually a conscious choice.
Yes.
It's also part of my book, I read about the matrix of our life, like the filter that we see life through. And that story you're telling yourself alters this filter. And if that filter is to find the things that worry you, that give you anxiety, that give you fear, that give you depression, that give you anger, you will find them on a daily basis because they're there.
Yes.
But if your filter is to choose to find gratitude daily, to see that, you will then begin to see those things that have always been there before.
Isn't that really about perspective, what you're saying?
1,000,000%.
I
can give you an example too. You're gonna love this. My mother-in-law, Patricia, is the most godly woman ever. She sees the Lord everywhere. Like your mom might be like, no matter what, she sees the Lord. And I used to, when I was young, I've known her since I was 14. I used to kind of laugh about it, like, gosh, geez, she's so Pollyanna. Like, my gosh, like she doesn't work in the real world. Like if she was in the real world, she'd know there's stuff and things and stress and worry. And the older I've gotten, like we'll walk outside, literally, Timmy, like outside Tim, and she'll go, the wind will blow in her face. Thank you, Jesus. And she'll just feel, she's constantly, her matrix, her filter is to find, it's not even just gratitude. To be honest with you, my mother-in-law is looking for the Lord everywhere. And she sees it everywhere. And you know what? She hasn't aged. My mother-in-law is almost 80 years old. She looks 40. And I think one of the things you just said is her biochemistry's changed. Her health is better. She's just a remarkable person based on her perspective. And now I want to go to perspective because one of the great moments of all sports for me ever, let me tell you when it was, okay? Because I also think in life, it's not just the story we tell ourselves, but it's how we respond when adversity comes our way. So my favorite was back in 2008, and there's this football team that loses 31-30. I think it was it Ole Miss or who was it? It was Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
So, your face just changed again, right? And this young man who has no business being this wise or this strong or this humble or this courageous at a young man. I mean, people forget when you're watching these college athletes because they run and look like grown men. These are still very young people. And I knew who you were, but he's another player. He talks about God. That's great. Then I watched this press conference. I saw it live. And let me tell you what happens. This young man, we'll probably play it on the YouTube or the audio here on the audio. But this young man gets up and says, and he's down. You look at his face in this video. He's down. He says, to the fans and everybody in Gator Nation, I'm sorry.
Extremely sorry. We were hoping for an undefeated season. That was my goal. Something Florida's never done here. But I promise you one thing. A lot of good will come out of this. You have never seen any player in the entire country play as hard as I will play the rest of the season, and you never see someone push the rest of the team as hard as I will push everybody the rest of the season. And you never see a team play harder than we will the rest of the season.
God bless, and he walks out. I'm thinking, how does he respond like this when this happens? And if you know the rest of the story, they did exactly that. Don't you think part of life is how you respond in the times when adversity hits like that?
Absolutely.
And has that been a benchmark for you, like throughout your life, and the advice you'd give to people who are facing adversity and challenges right now?
Well, I would first say that adversity is here, it just left, or it's on its way. Life, I just don't think we should ever give people the false notions that adversity is not a part of life. It is. It's a part of life.
I think it's important because we're talking about gratitude and all this stuff.
That's right.
But this
you
other
can still
thing,
be grateful even in the midst of it, not when it's perfect, because it's never going to be perfect. We can be grateful even in the hard times, and I think for me in that moment, I felt such a weight, a burden, and a responsibility because I missed the mark. I did. As a leader, as the quarterback, as a part of Gator Nation, I bleed orange and blue. So it wasn't just as a player. It was my grandfather's dream for him to see Florida win an SEC championship. And he died before that happened.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was part of life. And so I had dreamed about this since I was a boy, and Florida's never had an undefeated season. So for about an hour, I was waiting for the press conference, and I was sitting there, and Coach Meyer was sitting beside me, and I keep getting emotional because it meant that much to me. And then as I go to do the press conference, my parents are walking down in, so I get emotional again, and I have to cool down again, and so then I go in and I answer all the questions, and then I wanted to say something. I didn't have to. I didn't need to, but I felt like I was supposed to. And there's a difference. And the first thing that I wanted to say, because I believe when you do something wrong, the first thing you should do is apologize, and not just say, "Oh, I apologize." That's not an apology. Apologize is to say, "I am sorry." And so I wanted to apologize first and foremost, and I did it twice to say I'm sorry, because when you feel like you did something wrong, you need to apologize, and that's the first thing I wanted to do. And so I apologized twice. But then I just believe, and I'm just so grateful for my parents, and trying to instill this is to apologize and then say how it's going to be different, right? Because it's not just a disappointment or a wrong, but it's a learning moment. It's a learning curve. It could be one of the greatest moments of your life if you take it down and you learn from it and you adjust and you adapt and you grow, so that moment might be the reason you don't have to face those moments for a long time, because you changed, you learn, you grew, you adapt. And sometimes that sucky moment could be one of the greatest moments you ever have in your life, because I learned so much from it. Or I could sit in, and so I wanted to apologize, and then I wanted to say, and see what's funny is people will sometimes quote, and they'll be like, "Oh, you promised y'all were going to win the national championship." I was like, I never said that.
Say that.
I can't make a promise that I don't know if it'll come true. And so I promised something I believed I could control, was that I was going to be the hardest working player, because I believed I could control that, that everything I could do, and that our team, because I believed how our team would respond.
This is so valuable for people because they're in the mindset of a champion, because I think one of the words I'd use for you is obsessed. And I think your obsessions become your possessions. I think you were obsessed with becoming this version of you. I just believe that. I think at some age there, whether it was 8, 9, 17, or whatever, you became obsessed with being this person that you've become, right? And so now you possess him. And now you're in this hunt to improve him even more, right?
I like that. Just cut that clip for me.
Right? It's actually a fact, though, man.
love
It's like,
that.
it's very, very true. So you've also transcended multiple industries, though. So it's not like you just did one thing, right? So you did American Gladiator, right? He's only got to do both programs of American Gladiator. He's been in the fitness business. He's also done well in business. He owns different real estate. He's done well in the business world, too. But you also are an actor, right? And so he's pursuing some things right now. Maybe you'll share with us a little bit. But like, they're going to redo Conan, aren't they? Right?
They
The new
are
Conan.
redoing Conan.
And-
Amazon is doing it.
And so, how are you involved with that? Hopefully, I mean,
It's-
like this is an outcome of yours, right? This is a goal of yours. Fair to say?
This is. Acting's always been. And like my first movie was Death Becomes Her with Bruce Willis and Goldie Hawn and Meryl Streep. And I actually got felt up by Meryl Streep.
That's hot.
So it was like, look at those things. She grabbed me. So just politically correct. She grabbed me.
There's no, yeah.
But yeah, I've been acting since 1990, and it's something I love. And yes, Gladiators the original, but I was still athletic enough when I got the second Gladiators. Now here's the funny thing.
This is interesting.
Nobody
right
will
here.
know
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
or a small percentage will know this. They called me up for the new Gladiators and said, "Hey, you're on the show," and I go, "No, I'm not. Let me try out like everybody else tries out. If I deserve it, I deserve it." Then I went out, and you can see it online, and I destroyed all the tests, and there was
Really?
over 20,000 people tried back out for it.
And how old were you the second time?
I think it was 2008 came out, so it was 10 years ago.
40
And so I came out and I did
Almost 40
35 pull-ups, and I ran a 4.740, and so it was one of those things.
What did you weigh when you ran a 4.7?
275.
Come on, man.
So it was one of those things. I didn't want to just get something handed. I wanted to fight for this, and
there it is
and
again.
I love the
there
fight.
it is again. There's
I
the
love
fight.
the fight.
2 more. Yeah.
So
There's a running theme here, though. This is good. Okay.
So those are great, but I've been doing some fun shows like Workaholics and Sunny in Philadelphia and guest spots and daytime TV and soap operas, and so now we're up for He-Man and the remaking Conan. So
huge.
the crazy hair is
That's huge.
fitting
man.
right now.
That's so huge. I'm excited
So
for you.
I'm hoping.
I'm
This
excited
is-
for you.
But it's fun. It's a fun battle, and regardless of what when I tell people, they go, "What keeps you motivated?" And I try to say, well, I know what keeps me motivated. It won't make them motivated, but if you're passionate about something, and I don't care how small it is, to you it might be something big. And I'll give you something so minute to most people, but
Yeah.
it was so big to me. That you will continue to work out, you will continue to eat right, you will continue to go and make right choices about things, and push you beyond any limit that you possibly think is possible. You'll get up every morning going, I don't want to work out today. You'll be up going, no, I got that.
Okay.
That thing is right in your frontal lobe, and you're passionate about it. And that's what's going to keep you training and dieting right. So I got a puppy, 18 years old. And
this is
there's it's a huge part of me because of the fact that not only is she my dog, my first adult dog, and she's 18.
Your whole face just changed.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm gonna cry now.
Yeah.
Instant.
Your whole face. Just
Yeah, I know. It's my heart.
yeah.
And I train harder, and I've trained harder in the last 6 months to a point where I was better than I ever was when I won the universe. Now, this is 20 years later. I decided to get in the best shape of my life. So what triggered it? What was different?
Right.
Maybe mature muscle, in my consistency, but there had to be something that drove me to a different level.
Yeah.
I'm pretty obsessed as is.
Yes.
I was beyond obsessed. Was it Christmas that I fasted? So as everybody else is going through Christmas and New Year's, my goal was New Year's. I want to look better than I've ever looked in my life.
Okay.
And the only passion I had is that I'm losing my puppy. And that I wanted to spend time with her, and I want to be able to hold her and kind of show her, to me, that made sense. And it's something minute to somebody else. Mostly if you have a kid, it should be tenfold.
Yep.
So I got in the best shape of my life to the point of where I don't care if it was Jay Cutler or Kai Green going, what the heck?
Right. Yeah.
This shouldn't be done.
Yeah, right.
What are you doing?
Right.
How do you look like?
Yeah.
And so, again, it's a puppy, it's me, it's motivation, it's passion.
Yeah.
And I got to a place that I've never got in my life. But I can attach things to me on goals
Yeah.
that are so much more meaningful and deep. And it's not a trophy.
No, it's what you just did. Here's what it is, man. It's the goal's huge, the passion's huge, and you're a freak. Like there's freaks running around the world. I'd like to think that I'm one of them, right? Like your discipline level is freakish, your competition level. But when you give someone who's already a freak a massive reason attached to their goal, it goes ballistic. So you attach a massive, compelling, emotional reason, right? Is this the puppy you're telling me about from the first shoot? Is that the puppy?
Yeah.
So just so you know, because all these people say all these alpha males. Me and him were talking this beforehand, right? You either get us talking about either our kids or our dogs, and we just melt any man, right? So just tell them why, because that reason's huge, but also how big this dude's heart is. Like, how did you end up with her in the first place?
Photo shoot, Millennium cover. So I go to the photo shoot, and it's muscle and fitness. Nothing out of the different, except that I was honored to be on the Millennium cover, the 2000. That was great.
Huge.
Joe Weider calls me, goes, out of everybody in the world, you're the guy.
How cool.
And I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Show up, I'm excited. They pull out little 2 puppies, and I shoot with the 2 puppies all day long. And then at the end of the photo shoot, they're like, all right, we're gonna take these pups back to the pound. And I'm like, that ain't gonna happen. I thought they were actually somebody's puppies that they brought to the photo shoot.
And in the pound, everybody tell them what pounds
I don't know if you guys even know what a pound is.
Right.
It's an old term that they would keep the dogs for maybe 21 days and then put the dogs down. And so when they said that, I was like, no, here's some money, and I took the puppies home.
Yeah, and that's the puppy that he's referring
Still
to. That's his reason
today.
to this day.
So for everybody that's 18 years old, that dog's been alive as long as that, and
so
still with
powerful,
me.
man.
And
Because I think it's an elite thing. Like, first off, it shows your heart. Like, one of the things that struck me about you is like, you're this big studly dude. Like, you're really just this humble, super sweet, good dude. Like, you kind of talk a lot of smack, but he's like this really gentle, really kind dude who could just break you in half, right? But if you're an elite person out there and you're already doing very well, like he was already one of the most fit men on the planet. How do you go to that next level, like that crazy freak level? It's a bigger reason. It's going to be because your disciplines are there, your habits are there, your rituals are there, your obsession's already there if you're at that level. The only separator is to have a bigger reason, whether that's another competition, something you're trying to surpass. Usually, big reasons are your dreams or other people or a pet. Those are your bigger reasons. That's what you did. You put that formula together. And I'm curious for you, I want to go through it because I think there's metaphors everywhere. So by the way, the reason I started with 30 and 50 is he's done that. And then when you did the 50 and 50, I'm like, bro, you're out of your damn mind, right? And then to go do the Conquer 100. But I'm reading about both of those last 2. It's inspiring, right? But this time, like day 5, your shins start exploding, right? Like you're on day 5. Talk us through that. Did you think of quitting then?
So 2 really cool things happened that took me a little bit of time to realize. I went into it knowing that you can't train for 100 consecutive. You have to adapt and evolve along the way. And I knew, look, the first 15 and 20 of these are going to be hell because you've got to get to the point where you're broken physically, mentally, and then push through that. And that's where everybody quits. And if I can push through that, my body's going to adapt and evolve, and it's going to become the new normal.
Stay on that. Everybody, I want you to write this down. Pull over, adapt and evolve. That's in your business. That's in your family. That's in your fitness. That's the key. Go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah. And so when I went into it with an ankle problem that I didn't tell anybody about, and it immediately exploded into my shin to where we developed a stress fracture in the bone. And super long story, but a miracle happened. We ended up getting a carbon plated shin brace that allowed us to offload the shin and continue on to heal that stress fracture by doing the marathon portion every single day. It was a total miracle, but a complete testament to me that you give the body the tools and assets that it needs to recover. It can still do so under stress. And that was amazing to me to watch the body heal like that. Now, the shin and the imbalance that created a hip problem became so painful. Some of my worst days, I don't remember them, but we have the video footage where I would be trying to move, and the pain would get to a point that I could no longer manage it, and I would black out. And we called him the wingman. My wingman would catch me. I'd come back to, and he would do a 10-second countdown and then say, "Here we go." And we would repeat that until I got to I'm going to get emotional, but until I got to the finish line that night. And again, it's just a testament to how powerful the mind is. Now, I was angry because I wanted to showcase how strong our team was mentally and physically, and I wanted to make the 100 look easy. I believed we could do that. And I was angry that I couldn't run and that I was forced to walk.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out to be the biggest blessing of the entire campaign.
Why?
My pain and discomfort forced me to walk. And every single day we had people from around the country fly in and locals to support us. And without fail, they said, "I'm so grateful you're walking, because I wouldn't have been able to join you if you weren't walking." And I was hard on myself because I was like, look, I'm an athlete. I want to destroy this. And as I got deeper into it, I was like, I'm so grateful for this injury. I'm so grateful I'm walking, and my pain has turned into a blessing that other people can join and have an experience. And every single day somebody did their first 10K with me, or their first marathon, or their first full distance, or their first 100-mile bike ride. And every single day I got to experience somebody else's first.
Wow.
And it was humbling. And it was, humbling.
Wow. I mean, by the end of this, you guys, a couple hundred people riding the cyclists with them. And I actually, for you, am grateful that it didn't look easy, because I think you connected, at least with me, watching you struggle. I'm on Instagram every night watching these videos when it was happening. And like, there were literally times for me watching you, like I'm in tears, like not wondering the next day, but it's one of the most, I don't even like to say one of the most, because when I say that, then I have to think of something that I think is more. It's just insanely inspiring. And I can't think of something mentally or physically I've ever seen close to this, because of the adversity, because of all the people that got caught up in it with you. Also, though, there's another element of this that, this idea of adapting, man, I'm just so glad that you said that for everybody's sake. But I'm curious, of all of them, the time you did the 50 or this time, was there a moment where you're like, I'm out, I'm going to like you're literally blacking out, right? So that's insane to me. But was there a time when you just consciously went, I'm in too much pain, I'm in too much, because guys, these are icy roads, snowy sometimes. You imagine shin issues on a snowy ice. Oh my gosh. Like, was there a point, or are there lots of points where you're like, I'm out? Was there one particular, bro, where you're like, no, like this time I'm really out?
So, my team is world-class. And there's the core four of us. It's my wife, Sunny Joe, and then the two wingmen, Casey and Aaron. And they were the four of us, thick and thin, through the 50, and then I brought those boys back on for the 100, and they played massive roles. And Sunny is obviously the head of this entire thing. And we just know from experience that it's okay to feel. It's not okay to quit. It's okay to problem solve. It's not okay to quit. And it's okay to process. And I think that's what a lot of people don't do, especially men, is they don't allow themselves to feel and process before they hunker down and keep going. At no point in time was ever any of us saying, we're quitting, we got to be talked back into it. But every single one of us had moments where we just needed to cry, to feel, be supported to where we said, okay, I've had my 2 minutes. I'm not going to dwell on it. We're going to quickly turn this around and we're going to get back to work. And that's the reason the four of us are so strong together, because all four of us have that mindset. And I will tell you this, the closest that I ever came to even considering it was somewhere between 15 and 20, where we were at the peak of that pain, where I had a couple of days where I was blacking out. I don't remember portions of it. And I remember standing in the shower and I kind of just shrugged my shoulders at Sonny. And I said, I don't know how many more days I can manage the pain at that level. Because when you've got 85 more days to go, that is it's so daunting. And when you're broken, it's hard to conceptualize what it's like. And I'll never forget what she said. She said, you're done today and you don't have to do anything else. And all you have to do is now trust in the team. Get out of the shower, go lay on the table and let them take care of you. And then we will face whatever comes tomorrow together.
Gosh, it's huge.
And I think that's what a lot of people don't do is you've got this today's mentality of the people that do decide to show up, that it's like, I got to go in all the time. I got to go all in all the time. I got to hurt more than he does. And they don't take 2 seconds to reset mentally. And I can't tell you how important that was. And the valuable lesson that I learned was, you've done enough today to take 2 seconds and reset. And as soon as I got into that rhythm, knowing, and again, it takes putting the right team together, and then it takes letting go and trusting the team that you have put together to do their job, to do their part. And that's hard too, as a man, to let go of like control of every piece of that puzzle and to go, I surrender and I trust you to do your part. And it's hard to find good people nowadays that are willing to do their part.
Yeah.
And I have that team. And so when Sonny said, you've done enough today.
Beautiful.
And I think that's so important, because we go through life and I think we're so hard on ourselves. We see ourselves differently. And how many times in our lives, on our journeys, do we take a minute and say, you're enough. Right. You've done enough. And I think it's so important, especially as men, to be vulnerable and just say, I've done enough today. I'm going to take on tomorrow when tomorrow comes.
What if you had never pushed yourself to an extreme? I'm just curious. You burned your legs and your feet. And by the way, he's in this hospital. It's unsanitary. There's cat walking over his body. And again, his mom comes. And what if after that, because he decides, by the way, I just got to give this away to everybody. It blows my mind. He's like, his mom says, what's your Everest? Basically, while he's laying there. And he's like, I don't know. I'm never going to get out of here. I'm never going to walk again. And I'll just speak it for Colin. Colin says, I'll do a triathlon. 18 months later, this dude does a triathlon after he was told he could never walk again. And he freaking wins it. He freaking wins the triathlon. It's insane. And then you've gone on. What if you had never pushed yourself, never known what you were capable of? Because there's a lot of people, Colin, that go through this whole life in the 5-6 range, never knowing what they're capable of. What if you had never done that in your life? How much different do you think you would be? Your marriage would be. You as a person would be. I don't know if you ever sit back and think about that. What if I'd have never seen what I was capable of?
It's such a powerful and important question. And it just, I'm smiling because it just strikes at the heart of what I'm passionate about sharing, what I've shared about those 1s and 10s. You know, people have asked me, and it's a different question, but it's come from the same place of, I was 22 years old. The reason I got burned in this fire was I jumped a flaming jump rope. I was on a beach in Thailand, 22 years old, clearly not a fully formed prefrontal cortex. And I saw a couple guys with a kerosene soaked jump rope. And I was like, gee, that looks like fun. What could possibly go wrong here?
Right.
And I wrapped that rope around my body, lit my body on fire to my neck. And I thankfully was near the ocean, jumped in the ocean, saved my life, but not before about 25% of my body was burned, as you mentioned, predominant my legs and feet. And doctors thought I would never walk again normally. And I spent months in rural Thai hospitals. I was in a wheelchair, all these things, right? And people have asked me, Well, if you could go back in a time machine and whisper to your 22-year-old self, would you tell him not to jump the jump rope? And it's an interesting question, because the knee-jerk response is, of course, don't jump the jump rope. Don't light your body on fire. And I wouldn't wish the physical pain of that injury on my worst enemy. And I'll tell you what was worse than the physical pain was the emotional trauma, not only that I suffered. My mom, thank God, she saved me from that mess, but she also had to stare and see her child severely burned in a place where no one spoke the language, in the middle of nowhere, that she couldn't move, and the hurt that caused her and my family. So on one hand, I wouldn't want to cause that hurt to anyone in my family. But here's the thing. I learned some of life's most valuable lessons from the resilience gained to recover from that, from having that specific goal, at least for me, which was a triathlon. And so that's all to say, I sit here with 10 world records, and we're not talking about the 10 world records that I set before I stupidly burned myself in a fire and screwed up my entire life. I set those records after that burn, and I only could have walked across Antarctica if I had burned myself in the fire. And forget about the external achievement. I love that you brought up marriage into this. I show up for my wife with love and compassion and grace, and I don't always get it right. I'm not perfect. But I am a better person because I have sought out what the limitations and the challenges, and I've suffered some. And so it's a weird thing. I know you were, I was just listening to your most recent episode with Eric, the hip hop preacher. Love that dude. What a guy. Yeah. And you're saying to him, he's like, he's been homeless. And he's been in the Four Seasons, he's been illiterate and he's got a PhD. Yeah. There is something about pushing the edges of what we're capable of in any given moment that teaches us so much about life. And that's why people ask me, even after I share a story about 5 of my friends dying, 5 of my friends died. There's not a day that goes by. I tear up often still 18 months later, thinking about the tragedy of that moment that I shared. And people sometimes ask me, they say, hey, Colin, aren't you afraid of dying? I think about it. Yeah, I'm afraid of dying. I'm super afraid of dying. This life is such a gift. I am afraid of dying. But you know what I'm more afraid of? I'm afraid of not living. I'm afraid of not living. And just sitting there in that 5, day after day after day, and never seeing what you're capable of, and never seeing what you can create, and never feeling into your full potential, even if to feel into that hurts a little bit for a moment in time, those 1s, those 2s, those 3s. That is the juice of life. That's the spice. And the 12-hour walk, even the walk itself, is a metaphor for this experience. Guess what? If you walk for 12 hours, even if you take a ton of breaks, your feet are going to get tired at some point. You might be a little bit out of your comfort zone in terms of bring some food with you, bring some water. You might be a little dehydrated. You might get a blister on your foot. You might be tired. You might think to yourself, I hate being alone. This is uncomfortable. Yes, you are likely going to experience some 1s, some 2s, some 3s on that day. But how many 5 days over the last 365 can you not even remember? What'd you do last Tuesday? What'd you do a month ago? What'd you do 2 months ago? There are so many days in our life that don't even imprint and register in our memory because they're just because you're not alive. You're not fully living. You take this 12-hour walk, you're going to seek some discomfort. It is going to be challenging at times, but I guess you what? If I ask you a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, have you ever walked very far? You know what? 10 years ago, I did walk by myself alone in silence. It's not going to be a 5-day. You're going to feel some 1s, some 2s, some 3s, but every person I know to get back to their front door, every person I know that wakes up in their bed the following day with a few sore muscles, it's a 7, it's an 8, more often than not, a 9, a 10. Thank you. I felt alive. I am not afraid of dying as I am afraid of not living.
Oh my gosh, Colin. Again, I just have to tell you, I'm so grateful I'm sharing this time with you, brother.
I feel the exact same, man.
Yeah,
so
brother,
fun to be here with you.
When you're talking, I think about this thing I say often, which is extremity expands capacity. When you do something to what you think is an extreme, you expand your capacity to do extreme things, even if they don't seem very significant to you. And then I think about, this might be an ironic thing I just wanted to tell you when I was prepping, and take this the right way. And I know that I just say it the way I mean it. I don't no grain of salt. This is a dude who struggled to jump rope with some fire, right? I know you're a college swimmer, but and the same dude who couldn't jump rope with some fire that almost ended his life is now doing world records across Antarctica, climbing peaks, doing the Grand Slam. So it's amazing. I think oftentimes we think, well, I'm not very good at something now, so I'll like never be good at it. Well, this is a dude who didn't even jump rope correctly when he was 22 years old. I know there was fire with it and all that, but then to think that same dude is now the dude shattering all these records that literally no physical living human being has ever done before, is a dude who couldn't get the jump rope thing right when he's 22 in Thailand. Do you ever think about that? Like that proves extremity expands capacity. Right.
Well, I'll go one step further, which is after the Antarctica crossing, I had a lot of doors open to me. There was so much press, media, 2 billion media impressions, was most widely viewed expedition in modern history. And of course, that's going to open some doors, right?
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful experience, a beautiful moment in time that I'm deeply humbled and grateful for. We was able to build a very successful and lucrative series of businesses on the back of that, et cetera, et cetera. But I decide that everyone's, what's your next expedition? And I get this idea to row a boat across Drake Passage. So a rowboat, tiny little rowboat. For people who don't know, Drake Passage is the most treacherous stretch of ocean in the entire world. So from the southern tip of South America all the way to Antarctica, 750 miles. It's where the Atlantic and Pacific and Southern Ocean all converge. And that convergence of those ocean currents creates like 40-foot waves. And there's icebergs. It's freezing cold. I mean, it's insane. There's been a laundry list of thousands of boats that have shipwrecked in Drake Passage, but not just like 100 years ago. 10 years ago, a cruise ship sunk in the middle of Drake Passage. Like that's how crazy, like that's a modern time cruise ship still sunk in Drake Passage. And I'm thinking, I'm going to get a couple of buddies and we're going to row a boat, no motor, no sail, 28-foot long, 3-foot wide, 2 feet off the water's edge, an open hole. So we're getting crashed the entire time. So I go to discuss Discovery Channel. It's like, I want to film your next thing, whatever it is. Tell me what it is. And so I go to them and I say, well, our next thing is a rowboat crossing of Drake Passage. No one's ever done it. And they say, great. They sign this big, 7-figure check to produce the whole thing and pay, whatever. Great. It's going to be awesome. I'm leaving in 3 months. It's a pretty quick turnaround. And I finally, after all the paperwork signed, everything's down, ready to go, I turn to the producers. My family knows this, but most people don't realize this. I'm rowing a boat across Drake Passage. I said, that's great. And I said, but I got one thing I got to tell you. I've actually never rowed a boat anywhere.
Come on, man.
Anywhere. Literally. Not at summer camp, not at
oh my gosh. Come on, dude.
not at not in college, not like ever. I've never. And I've also not spent, it's not like I'm a sailor, so I don't know like everything about ocean and seafaring. This is a 100% fully unfamiliar thing.
That's bananas.
The thing that's not unfamiliar is pushing my body,
right,
or pushing my mind, or taking on big goals or things of that nature. But I have literally never rowed a boat anywhere ever. And so I reach out to a buddy of mine who's a rowing coach in Portland, Oregon, where I grew up. And I said, I need you to come meet me down at this dock and teach me a little bit about rowing. And so he's like, yeah, sure. And I kind of explained the whole thing. He thinks, you're out of your freaking mind. Maybe 5 years from now, when are you doing this? I said, well, I'm leaving in 3 months. And so he gets me on this one-man single rowing school. You maybe have seen people do that or pictures of it or whatever. And I get in there. I'm in 6 inches of water on the dock. I try to take my first stroke and I fall flat on my face. I literally fall out of the boat and I'm like flailing around in 6 inches of water. And I stand up soaking wet. Oh and this is that moment where you go like, either I am an idiot. And of course, this is an extreme example. I'm never going to be a rower. But here's the thing. I said to him, I look at him and I go, well, I guess I'm not a rower. But one word changes that. I guess I'm not a rower. Yet. I'm not a rower yet. We've got 3 months for that. And that is everything, right? We talk about growth mindset. That is it. I'm not, whatever you are right now, no matter what age you are, you're listening to this podcast, wherever you are, your hopes, your dreams, your Mount Everest, what's your Everest? You haven't reached the summit of your Mount Everest yet. Here's the thing. Kobe Bryant had to shoot his first hoop at some point. Stephen King had to sit down and write the first paragraph of his first novel before he could write 65 of the best-selling books of all time. Meryl Streep had to try out for her school play. All of these people were not at the top of their game when they came out of the womb. But at some point, they chose to say in their identity, in their own confidence, in their own strength, in the story that they are writing about themselves, I am not this yet, but I can be and become anything I set my mind to. And 3 months later, I became the first person in history to row a boat successfully across the most treacherous ocean in the world. You can see the documentary Discovery Plus, as it's called, The Impossible Row, if you want to see me get bashed around in some crazy ass situation in the middle of the ocean. Dude. But we can be and become anything we set our minds to. And that's the truth.
That's just unbelievable. And the way you tell a story and weave in the point, it's just so freaking good. I really do believe this too. The people that I know that are the most happy and successful, or just one or the other, have a lower threshold of how good or how prepared they think they have to be before they actually start something. And the people that aren't very happy or that aren't very successful have this massive threshold of what they think they have to know to just begin. And so they don't begin, to your point. Now that is rather mind-blowing. It's like Rob O'Neill was on my show, Kill Bin Laden. He didn't know how to swim weeks before becoming a Navy SEAL. Wow. Then I have you on and you're telling me I've never rowed a boat and you're doing something that freaking bananas. It just blows my mind, bro.
I see this video and it changed my life. I'm going to tell you 2 stories that I think are going to affect you that you'll remember forever, and then I'll be done. Number 1, my son. So this is my son, whom I love. I only have one son. His name's Maximus. I love him, but I'm going to share some things with you that would embarrass him. He's the most uncoordinated human being I've ever met in my life. To this day, if you put a gun to my head or his mama and said, is Maximus left or right-handed? And he's 21 years old. We probably should have figured it out by now. I have no idea whether he's a lefty or a righty. Let me tell you why. In baseball, if I put a glove on his left hand, he would still wear a fly ball right in his face. Bam! We'd switch the next year to the other hand. Bam! He struck out 64 times left-handed when he was 9, 63 times right-handed. In flag football, any of you that have kids that play flag football, my son was the blocker. You know what that means. Don't give that kid the ball. Okay? Basketball, played a whole season of basketball. Actually, 3 seasons. He scored 2 points in 3 seasons. And here's the one that he scored. He went up to grab a rebound, missed it, turned to run back the other way. The ball bounced off his head, went back into the basket, and he runs down the court like freaking Jackie Moon or something, like he had scored. Played golf, lefty, righty, lefty, righty. In fact, for a long time, in the same golf bag, he would have some left-handed clubs and some right-handed clubs. And it just dawns on me as I look at this picture, look how he's standing. That you know anybody with any coordination who stands like this for a photograph. What is he doing? So we finally settled on golf, and we moved to the desert. So I want you to picture this. And you can see in that picture right there, I was probably dabbling in a little bit of creatine at the time. Let's just call it creatine. And and that's very little creatine, quite frankly. There's some other photos I could show you where there's a lot of creatine. Anyway, I'm transparent as anybody you'll ever hear speak. So we decided to settle on golf. Well, where we moved, it was all professional golfers and their sons. So here's what you got out there. You got Mr. Creatine. I'd mainly wear a tank top. I got tattoos. I'm jacked. My son's wearing ragamuffin golf clothes with used golf clubs, and we're playing against Joe Blow and his son. They got matching Ricky Fowler outfits. The dad's won on the PGA Tour. The kid's got 3 golf instructors, a fitness guy, a massage therapist, a chef. Max has me. So we played for 3 years on this tour, about every single Saturday. And I did this because you could caddy for your son, and I'm busy, so it was 5 hours with my precious son. We finished last in every tournament for 3 years. When I say last, I mean last by a mile. This is a true story. If you don't believe it, my son tells it on my podcast. And so we had finished last every year. And by the way, it got to the point where we didn't even try to win. I would literally tell Maximus, hey, Max, you know, Dad, when you get out of the car to warm up, I say, you know, Daddy won't love you anymore if you win today. And I won't love you any less if you lose. He goes, I know, Daddy. And he would kiss me and go out to the course. When he would get home, his mom would never ask him, what did you score? It was always, did you have fun? Max goes, man, Daddy and I had so much fun. We talked about birds and we talked about grass and what I'm doing at school. And he's such a sweet boy. He'd tee off and top one right in the lake. Okay, hey, Dad, we're having fun. I'm like, yeah, Max, we're having freaking fun, right? And the other kid would like bomb one. Good shot, Jacob! And they're just looking. I'm like, you know the object here, right? So we played for 3 years. We're halfway through the 4th year. This particular day, our life changed, and your life could change right now. Let me tell you what happens. By the way, well, I'll tell you what happens. We played 9 holes. Max is 11 back. He's in last place by 11 shots. And we're way behind because Max is playing so bad. And so at this tour, when you make the turn at 9, you grab a sandwich and a drink and you keep going, the kids keep playing. Well, that day, the sandwiches were over there, and I'm not exaggerating, the next tee box was over there, and we were behind. And a life-changing moment happened. One of the dads who has won on the PGA Tour, and his dad has won on the PGA Tour, says this. He goes, hey, the other two boys, hey guys, you guys go get over there and hit your tee shots. Max, he'll go grab your lunch. He's out of it, and he doesn't give a crap. And I watched my son shoulders hunch over like they normally do and start to walk. I said, stop. I'll give you the clean version because I think there's some Christian folks in here, okay? I said, stop. I said, what the fuck did you just say to my son? Don't you ever speak to my family like that. Ever. You understand me? Ever. Oh. I said, listen to me. Here's what we're going to do. You guys go get your tee shot. Max, you stay with me for a second. We'll be right over there, and I'll grab the food. I said, Max, I must come here. He goes, yeah, hey, yeah, Dad, yeah, we're having fun. I go, come here. Come here. Come here. And I grab him. I go, listen to me. We're going to fucking win today, Max. We're winning! But Dad, what about, we're having fun. I go, listen to me. Winning is more fun than fun is fun. Max, winning is more fun than actual fun is fun. Dad, I go, this shirt sucks. You got another shirt? I'm trying to do a change of state. He had a gray shirt on. I go, he goes, I got a blue one. I go, give me that, take that shirt off. I go, here's your blue shirt. Max, this is the winning shirt. And I start anchoring and triggering that we're going to win in him. I said, we're going to win, Max, we're going to win, we're going to win. He goes, okay. I go, listen to me, we've never done this before. You take no practice swings. We're not dicking around here. And I will tell you what club to hit, and you will hit it because you've got a great swing and you're a great player. My son would hit balls 2 hours before school every day and into the dark every day. And watch this, by the way. My son didn't have a bad golf swing. That was him warming up that day. He goes, okay, Daddy. I said, hit the driver, go get it. He walks away, and I watch my precious boy, shoulders hunched over, like he always walked, and I'm walking to get the sandwich. I'm like, God damn it, what'd I do? Possible assault. I've scared the hell out of Max. We're definitely losing again. And I remember watching my son walk up, and he's so uncoordinated. Normal player just tees the ball up. My son would have to get down on his knee, like tee the thing up. Jesus, Max. God. But he hits it right down the middle. And I'm walking, I get up there, I go, hey, how'd that feel? He goes, okay, Daddy. I go, great shot. We're walking, I'm grabbing him, I'm anchoring. We're gonna win. Okay, Dad, we're gonna win. We get up there, I go, you got 120, Max, hit an 8-iron, hit this sucker 10 feet left of the hole, let's go. I've never talked to him like that before. He hits it about 20 feet left of the hole. I go, good shot. He goes, thanks. He hands me the club back. We walk up to the green, and he's getting ready to putt. I go, Max, line the putt up. Because my son would just putt. I said, line the putt up. See how the other boys walk around and read? No, I don't know how the putt breaks. I don't know, my son. But now he's doing this BS make pretend reading of the putt. He's doing this. He goes, I think it's 2 feet left to right, Dad. I go, that's exactly what I see, son. Do that. Takes it back. Dunkaroonie for a birdie. Yeah, Maximus! Yeah! The other boy's bogey. And he kind of twirls the club back at me like this. I go, how'd that feel? He goes, that felt pretty good, Dad. Pretty good. All right, I go, hey, we're down 9, man. Let's go. Now he's kind of walking like this to the next tee box. I'm like, hey, you're walking like your old man now. All right, Max, par 5, smash that driver. No practice swing. Okay, Daddy. Smashes it down the middle, actually further than the other two boys. We get up, it's a par 5, there's a lake in front, the other two boys lay up because they should. We're down 9, we got no choice. I go, Max, you got 220 the hole, smash that 3. He goes, duh. I go, don't hit it. Now, just so you know, my son has never hit a 3-wood at that point in his life, 220 yards ever. So like any really good story, there's a little Jesus involved. There just has to be. Just has to be. So, I said, I immediately started praying. Lord, if this thing lands on the green, I will stop immediately 23% of all the bad crap I do. Like right in this moment, I'll never do them again. Literally never do it again. And if it lands on the green, I'll mention you in every talk I ever give the rest of my life. So my son hits this thing whoosh, in the air. Now it's in the air. Whoosh. And I'm going back to my Catholic days, man. I'm like, Hail Mary, full of grace, our Father, sign of the cross, whatever I got, dude. And it hits the wall in front of the green. And bounces straight up in the air. And lands on the green. And rolls to about 2 inches from the hole. Max goes, "There you go, Dad." I go, "Nice shot, baby. Woo!" And the other boys lay up. So here we go. Max squats up, taps in for an eagle. I go, "How'd that feel?" He goes, "Dad, really good." I go, now we're total conversation. Now he's walking to the next tee box. "Hey guys, I'm playing Cowboy. What are you guys playing? You guys like Titleist? Like, what's the deal? Like, they're gonna get some foot joys. I'm not real sure. You know, I think the wind's blowing a little bit. It might actually, he's totally talking like he knows what he's doing now." So we're down 7 shots now. Fast forward to 18th hole. We're down 1. Numbnuts, who made the comment, dipshit over there, and his son are in first. I go, "Let's go, Max. Let's win this thing." What I tell my son not to do: don't take a practice swing. It's about 100 degrees. My son takes a practice swing. Most important shot of my uncoordinated son's life, let me tell you what he does. Takes a practice swing, club slips right out of his hands, helicopters into the middle of the lake. Yeah, true story. You don't believe me? He tells it on the podcast. Most important shot of our life, my son throws the weapon he's going to use into the water before he can use it. Dead story. True story. Dead serious. I go, "All right, Max. Power on one more club. Here, hit the 3-wood. My son hits the 3-wood down the middle. All right, there's a lake in front of the green, and I hear Numbnuts tell his son, "Hey," I won't say the kid's name, "Hey, don't hit it in the lake." I go, "Max, get over here. Hurry up." He's gonna hit it in the lake. You never tell someone what not to do, man. Sure enough, he hits it in the lake. I go, "Max, you got 122, hit this 8-iron, 10 feet left of the hole. Let's get the F out of here with a W, buddy." We have never talked like it's the same boy, I love you, whether you all that bull crap, right? Yeah. Which isn't bull crap, but you know what I mean. And he hits it about 10 feet left of the hole. This little boy's so good, he holes out from the other side of the lake. So here's the deal. Max makes the putt, we win. He 2 putts, we go to a playoff. He 3 putts, we lose. He goes into his little BS walk around the putt to read it. And my stupid butt, Mr. Motivational Mindset, I go, "Hey, Max, it's a little downhill. Don't run it too far past the hole." My son, who never cared once, goes, "Daddy, I'm going to make it. We're going to win." I almost cry right now telling you this. I go, "Well, then make it, man. Let's go." Because I got it. And he gets over that putt, and our life changed. Takes that, I'm shaking. Look at this. He takes that putter back, dunks it. "Yes, Maximus! I'm carrying him around the green. Woo-hoo! How's that feel, buddy? Dad, this is awesome. Winning is way more fun than fun is fun." I'll prove it to you. Watch this face. Look at his little face. That's him after the win right there. Right? There's his blue shirt. Now, I still got to point out, still uncoordinated. You ain't ever seen LeBron James with an NBA title going afterwards, but he did it. He went on to win 22 straight tournaments. Same swing, different mindset. That day he shot 64, and I'm on a lot of creatine in that baby right there. 64. Then he finished 3rd, and then he won 16 more. This is me and him playing golf in Cowboy last year. He ended up growing quite a bit, and probably should do a DNA check. His feet are still completely crooked in the picture, by the way. Look at his feet. Still does it. After this picture, he lost 80 pounds because that's his college golf scholarship being signed. This week, my son played in the national championship and made a hole-in-one in the national championship yesterday. I should probably show you the video. So, I tell you all this because he was the same swing, the same person, but totally shifted his mindset into winning. Too many of you here are playing with this. You're a fan. You're messing with it. You're casual. And until you decide you're going to win, nothing's going to change. And you don't have to be loud or yelling like I am. In fact, for me, at most events like this, I didn't say a whole lot. I just kind of went, yep, yeah, now I'm serious. And I planted my flag. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to make this happen. This is where I do it or I don't do it. This is my place. These are my people. And that's what's got to happen for you here today. You got to decide you want to win. When you make, and by the way, it's all kinds of people win here, but you got to make that decision. Because when you make a decision, your life changes. You're one decision away from completely changing your life. One new recruit, one new relationship, one new thought, one speaker away from totally changing your life.
I've also heard you speak to appreciating that people with limiting beliefs about themselves, about the world, about you, often project that onto you. And I'm guessing it goes both ways, right? We also have limiting beliefs and we project it onto others. Will you speak to the power of understanding when you might be in a relationship with a partner, a spouse, a boss, a leader, where their own limiting beliefs might be projecting onto you and diminishing your self-confidence, your self-esteem, or even your self-worth?
Often people that project their limiting beliefs onto us, they love us. They're actually concerned about us. Why are you working so hard? Why does this money stuff matter to you? Why do you want to achieve so much? And they're just projecting their small thinking and small beliefs onto us. They're not always antagonistic against us. But how do we know if our friends, our associations serve us? I have a chapter in the book about becoming an impossibility thinker and a possibility achiever. And I have a point that I make in the book that 99% of people on earth today operate out of a filter, a frame of reference in their life, which is their memories and their history. This is the filter in which they think and operate out of. 1% of people operate out of their imagination or their vision. So stay with me. History and memories, 99%. Imagination and vision, 1%. Okay? This is a fact. Why are we happier when we're children? We're happier when we're children because we're operating out of our imagination, because we have no history. But then by about age 10, we have a history that's been installed in us with limiting beliefs by loving parents. In fact, Scott, I make the contention there's all kinds of child neglect. There's alcoholism and drug addiction. There's a family where we don't show affection, like what you said. I don't say I love you or I'm proud of you enough. But the most insidious form of neglect of all children in the world is a child being raised by a parent who is not pursuing their potential and their vision and their imagination. This is a form of neglect because everything with children and leadership is caught, not taught, as I said earlier. You're projecting your limiting beliefs into those children by not pursuing your potential and your dreams. So here's how you know when you're around somebody who serves you. Are they often saying to you, do you remember? Remember when? Remember this? When you're around your friends or your spouses, remember this? Remember? How about this? Remember? And they're constantly remembering. This is someone who operates out of history and memory. I try to surround myself with friends who don't do that, where my friends say, where are you going? Isn't this moment amazing? What's your vision? What are you dreaming on? What are you working on right now? Where are you heading? Man, isn't tonight special? So they're in the present, focused on their imagination and their future. This dialogue, if you really think through it, most of you, and I love you, I'm saying it, when you're with your friends, you're reminiscing. There's nothing wrong with doing a little of that. But if it's the dominant conversation, they operate out of their history and memory. And here's what's going to happen. They're going to repeat it. The same emotions, the same thoughts, different circumstances, different people, same life, to tie the two topics together. I want people, and most of my friends, I can't get them to reminisce. Like, man, let me tell you where I'm going. This is where we're headed. This is how amazing it's going to be. And today's a gift, man, because I get to do it today. Those are the people I want around me. I don't want to be going backwards all the time and repeating the same history by thinking the same stuff.